What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the best Warframe tier list in 2025. So the meta has shifted with the new additions, reworks and the balance changes. Some fan favorites have fallen off, while others have risen to the top. No matter if you're farming Steel Path, running Disruption or just trying to solo high level content, knowing which frames actually matter will make all the difference. This tier list will break down every Warframe currently in the game, from the absolute bottom to the god tier meta defining legends. Also, if you're interested in buying other PC or console games with 50 or 70% discount, then check out Instant Gaming. For example, I want to buy Elden Ring, so we just click on Add to Cart, then click Pay, then input our details and pay. After payment is complete, we will receive activation key, then copy and paste the key in, and it's that simple. So what are you waiting for? Click my link description and check out Instant Gaming for yourself. So we begin at the D tier, which is the home of the frames that feel more like a relic than a viable choice. Here sits by himself Oberon, who is an old school support frame, which hasn't kept up with the current meta. While once considered a jack of all trades for healing, armor stripping and the crowd control, his toolkit now feels slow, clunky and inefficient in the face of stronger alternatives. Healing options have been power crept into irrelevance when compared to the frames like the Wisp of the Protea and his defensive capabilities that offer little incentive over more specialized frames. Oberon is not unplayable, but in the meta where every second matters, he simply can't keep up. Next, moving up from the bottom, we have the C tier, which is made of the frames who are functional, but heavily overshadowed. These frames can still complete content, but they struggle to justify a spot over a stronger choice. Many of them are niche, underpowered or just clunky in the modern gameplay. The Chroma lands here as a prime example. Once a damage buffer and an Eidolon hunter, his value now has diminished as other frames will offer the same benefit, just with better energy management and the team-wide utility. His gameplay loop demands high maintenance, making him more trouble than he's worth for the average mission. Then Ivera joins the Chroma with her stealth-oriented playstyle. While useful for spy missions or the niche stealth setups, her gameplay is painfully slow, energy-hungry, and too reliant on the sleep arrows and invisibility to stay alive. In today's high-speed, high-damage meta, Ivera just struggles to find her footing. Then Vauba is another S-tier choice. Once loved for his crowd control and the gadgets, the Vauba's traps feel outdated and underwhelming. Modern Warframes have baked in CC, stronger damage and better survivability. His playstyle is more about nostalgia than utility now. Ember 2 will find herself in this tier. Once known for massive fire-based nuking, she now lacks efficiency and scalability that is needed in the current game. Her abilities will burn through the energy and deal inconsistent damage, which makes her a poor choice for high-level play. Then Limbo, despite having some niche uses, is one of the most polarizing Warframes. While his rift mechanics can cheese specific mission types like defense or excavation, he often disrupts teammates more than helps. Many players will disable public matchmaking if they know that a Limbo might show up. His kit simply does not play well with the others. Finally, we arrive at a Loki. He's stealthy, agile and tricky, but all of that is now eclipsed by better Warframes who do the same and more. Loki is the definition of outdated. He has utility but no damage, survivability but no scaling, and stealth but no versatility. Once a star, now a shadow of his former self. The C tier is where the Warframes go when they've been left behind, not because they're broken, but because the game just moved on without them. Next up we have B tier, which is where we start to see some respectable options. For example, the Warframes who get the job done, but don't necessarily shine. These frames are generally serviceable, but lack the punch, speed or the team synergy to stand out in the current meta. They're not bad, just outclassed. Nindus lands at the bottom of this tier. His unique stack-based survivability and infested team are appealing, but his ramp-up time will slow him down in the faster-paced missions. With better options for self-healing and the team support, his value now is more thematic than practical. Then Revenant, once a powerhouse of the tankiness and the might control mechanics, has slipped also into irrelevance. His ability to survive is still strong, but his kit does not contribute enough to the team utility or the mission objectives. His control mechanic is more fun than functional, and his damage output is mediocre compared to today's top nukers. Then moving higher in the B tier, we hit a cluster of B+ Warframes. These include solid performers, who are held up by their complexity, the lack of scalability, or simply by being slightly too slow in today's environment. Ash is a great single-target assassin, but his reliance on marking targets and watching animations limits his efficiency in the high-speed content. Atlas has tankiness and punch, but his brawler-style gameplay does not keep up with the meta's AoE-focused flow. Banshee still dishes out strong damage multipliers, but her paper-thin defenses will make her liability. Then Equinox will offer versatility with her day and night forms, yet switching between them can feel inefficient, and her damage output is no longer a standout. Frost is also a defensive powerhouse with his snow globe, but defense missions themselves are no longer popular or necessary, and his slow, deliberate gameplay contrasts that sharply with the current meta. Next we have Harrow, which remains a powerful support with crit buffs and crowd control, but his kit is very time dependent and often overshadowed by simpler alternatives. Then in Arrows boasts tankiness, but in the meta that favors agility and burst over raw health, his role will feel obsolete. Then Corvex brings respectable tanking and damage, but lacks utility. Then Trinity offers healing and damage mitigation, yet her playstyle feels dated in the post-Wisp world. Also, Wukong used to be everywhere, but the nerfs and the rise of the newer mobility frames have pushed him into a more average standing. These Warframes aren't bad, they're just average in a game that has steadily raised its performance ceiling. You can take them into most missions, but you'll feel the difference when compared to those in the higher tiers. Next up we have A tier, which represents strong, reliable Warframes who are competitive in nearly every scenario. This category includes most good frames, who are often picked by experienced players looking to fill a specific role with minimal drawbacks. Baruch leads the charge with his smooth synergy and excellent crowd control. His ability to negate damage and neutralize enemies through the Calm Fury is still a top tier defensive tool. Then Gairy has a fantastic synergy between critical damage and electric crowd control, which makes her a great choice for fast, stylish clears. Then Hydroid may have had a rocky past, but his recent changes have brought him back into relevance with scaling damage and tentacle control. Then Kumi will offer niche utility with powerful burst potential, while Lavos brings cooldown based casting that frees you from energy worries. Then Nynx remains relevant due to the armor stripping and the enemy confusion mechanics, which still finds use in the higher level missions. Then Octavia continues to impress with her stealth, damage scaling and infinite scaling potential, even if her playstyle is not for everyone. Then Voruna brings feral agility and flexibility builds that can adapt to solo or team playstyles. Then also you have the solid core of the A tier like the Hydrin that continues to excel thanks to the shield gating and her ability to style casting. Then Titania provides flight mobility and strong crowd control, along with the Razor Wing firepower that remains effective. Next we have Valkyr, who is still a beast in melee focused setups. These Warframes are well rounded and powerful without requiring perfect builds or the niche scenarios. They are just under the A+ and S tiers, not because they're weak, but because others do what they do, just a little bit more efficient. Next up we have A+ tier, which is where things get spicy. These Warframes are just a hair away from perfection. They have strong kits, impactful abilities, and can carry teammates or solo content with ease. They shine in most content, scale well, and usually only fall short of S tier because they require a bit more setup or aren't quite as universally dominant. The Caliban starts things off with the armor stripping and the raw team utility. He isn't flashy, but his results will speak for himself. Daggett will continue to rise in popularity, thanks to her damage over time effects and incredibly fast wave clearing. Then Excalibur is a timeless frame, and his Exalted Blade and mobility remain deadly tools in the high-speed content. Then Jade brings the shield support and the healing that rivals traditional support frames, while also packing surprising damage output. Then Mirage is another standout, turning into a dead blender with the right lightning conditions. Then Oraxia is newer to the scene, but already providing herself with strong AoV and stylish survivability. Then Sevagot offers a unique two-form playstyle that can wipe enemies and resurrect himself with ease. Temple is all about control and the damage layering, rewarding precision and timing. Then Wisp remains a fan favorite with her universal buffs, teleporting mobility and modes that fit every playstyle. Then Yareli, despite early criticism, has matured into a nimble, effective crowd controller, especially when properly modded. These Warframes will walk the line between the greatness and godness. They're near perfect in multiple mission types and easily outperform most of the other rosters when built right. And now finally, we arrive at the top of the mountain, which is the S tier. These Warframes dominate the meta in 2025. They're flexible, powerful, efficient, and useful in every possible game mode. No matter if it's endurance runs, stealth path, disruption, or arbitration, these are the Warframes that you will see leading the charge. The Citroen will open the list with her unmatched team utility and healing bursts. Then Sight adds AoE control, with unique interactions that make him both stylish and brutally effective. Then Dante is an absolute powerhouse in almost any setup, thanks to his incredible synergy and the multi-purpose toolkit. Then Gara remains one of the strongest defensive and offensive hybrids in the game. Her glass wall and the scaling slash damage can carry both solo and the team missions with ease. Then Garuda will bring blood-based aggression and energy economy that makes her near unkillable while dealing observed damage. Then Gaz is unmatched in speed, survivability, and consistent damage output. He can cross tile sets in seconds while nuking everything around him. Then Grendel may look goofy, but his kit is now devastating when used correctly, especially in a group content. Then Korak has only grown stronger over the time, with her Vipla and the Shangle Dome creating some of the best synergy for both damage and the crowd control. Then Culvero, who is one of the newer entries, has quickly proven to be a boss killing machine. Next we have Mag, which is a pure versatility. If you are stripping armor, dealing damage, or supporting a squad, then Mag continues to excel. Then Mesa is the Gunblade Queen and remains one of the most lethal DPS frames around. Then Necros keeps his place for loot farming and survivability, while Neza slides through the battlefield with fire and speed. Nova continues to dominate in crowd control, and nuking setups with her powerful animator Explosion. Then Protea is unmatched in utility by offering turrets, time reversal, and supply drops. Then Rhino is a walking tank and a staple buffer for newer and veteran players alike. Then Saren continues to dominate as a toxic AoE queen, but his shields and javelins will offer aggressive crowd control and team-wide buffs. Then Volt remains a monster in the speedrunning, DPS, and the Eldon hunting. His shields and the speed aura make him one of the most meta-relevant frames ever. Then Zaku, with the armor stripping and the void damage synergy, has become a staple in the steel path. And then Zephyr rounds out the list, with tornadoes and mobility that can overwhelm maps with ease. These are the Warframes that define the current era. Either way, if you're farming, speedrunning, or pushing the limits of endurance, the S tier frames are always in the spotlight. So let me know what you think about these Warframes in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, then you don't want to miss my previous top 10 best builds video, where I showed the most powerful builds in Warframe. So click the screen now and I'll see you in the next one.